From safari adventures and travel updates to conservation and humanitarian stories, this is Africa Revealed, bringing you the heart and soul of East Africa. Now, here's your host, Dr. Matt Jensen.
Hey everybody, welcome to Africa Revealed with Dr. Matt Jensen. I will be your host, Dr. Matt Jensen, and I am excited to welcome you to this new African podcast adventure, because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be an adventure. You see, we're going to focus on so many exciting topics, especially related to East Africa. But first, let me give you a quick background so you know exactly who you're dealing with. So obviously I introduced myself as Dr. Matt Jensen, but no, I'm not a wildlife specialist. I'm actually a dentist. That's right, a pediatric dentist. I started my career and practiced for 20 years in the pediatric private practice world, but it wasn't too long into my career where I felt the need to work in the humanitarian world. And so I started traveling different areas of the world to provide humanitarian dental care to other areas, villages, and communities where dental care just wasn't accessible or quality. That led me to several years ago to begin my journeys to East Africa, where as of today, I continue to take volunteers to provide not only dental care, but we're now starting to provide medical care, humanitarian relief in the form of education, clothing, and other temporal items that these wonderful people in the remote villages of Africa are in need of. We're building healthcare facilities, community centers. Our first flagship healthcare facility is almost finished in the rural areas of northern Uganda. We're going to talk about these amazing projects, the amazing people and communities in future episodes. But how we got into the safari world. We always take our volunteers on a short safari after they do their humanitarian service with us. And so it was just a few years ago that my trusted partner, you'll meet him in one of the future episodes, Albert Karonye of Nairobi, Kenya, approached me and said, Matt, wouldn't it be a great thing to start a safari company that will help support the work that we're doing in East Africa? So we are so excited that every safari that we booked, hundreds of safaris, thousands of safari goers, when you book a safari with Tapestry of Africa, a portion of your safari expenditure goes to that facility in Uganda, or it goes to providing the dental care that we provide in our dental camps. And I'm going to put these links in the show notes, but you can learn more about in dentaloutreachrelieffoundation.com. I know that's a mouthful. dentaloutreachrelieffoundation.com. And then you can also read about our exciting safari adventures at tapestryofafrica.com. We also invite you to follow us on social media. I'm constantly in the national reserves and parks and the beautiful lodges and camps, and I bring you episodes on YouTube, as well as quick episodes and quick clips in our other social media platforms. So follow us. Get used to us, get to know us, because we're here to provide you now through this new podcast so many great things that you might not know about if you're planning a trip to Africa or you're thinking about going on a safari. We want to be your primary source of information. Right now, as at the time of this episode, the big talk is Ebola. What's happening with Ebola? Is it affecting safari travel? The answer is yes and no. We're going to talk about that most likely in our next episode next week. But we want you to come along to the journey so that you can see and experience the beauties, not just of the wildlife, but we want you to see the beauties of the culture, of the landscapes, of the people, and of the many wonderful experiences that await you when you decide to visit Africa. So why are we starting this podcast if we've got all these other avenues for you to learn information? One of our goals here at Africa Revealed is we want to be on the cutting edge of information and news of items that you need to know or might be interested in knowing if you're planning a trip to Africa. As I mentioned, Ebola is happening. What about the Iran conflict and what's going on with oil and gas? I get people all the time emailing me going, Dr. Matt, if I come on my safari, is there going to be a shortage of oil? Am I going to be stranded? Are the jets going to be grounded? We're going to talk about that. We are plugged into those types of information. Another hot topic that's going on is the American facility for Ebola patients actually going to be built in Kenya? Well, yes and no. Again, there's more to just these issues than just a yes or no answer. But I want to be, and we here on the team want to we here on our team at Africa Revealed want to be a primary and trusted source for you to get your information as you're looking forward to or thinking about your trip to East Africa. Now, as the founder of a safari company, we are very experienced. We're very plugged into so many of the lodges, the beautiful safari camps, the routes of safaris, the national parks and national reserves. And so we're going to bring you a lot of adventurous episodes as well so that you can get excited. We're going to have what we call here in the filming world B-roll. We're going to provide some great footage and clips and photos of some of the adventures that we provide our clients, but also a lot of the adventures that I go on so I can bring you first-hand reviews and first-hand knowledge of the experiences that you can have when you come to Africa. Now, kind of a disclaimer, our podcast name is Africa Revealed, but we will be focusing mainly on East Africa and a few Southern Africa countries, as most safari travel is interested in Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, and then in South Africa, the Southern Africa region, we also visit Botswana and Zimbabwe. Now, I just want to start with a story for this episode because I want you to have a greater idea of where I'm coming from and the experiences that I'm going to share. Now, I take you back probably greater than 6 years ago. Before COVID is when we started this adventure of bringing humanitarian care to Africa. Now, if you're here to listen on this episode to a safari episode, don't go away. I still want you to hear this story because it illustrates an important part. You see, with Tapestry of Africa, the reason we named our business Tapestry of Africa, and again, you'll notice the name is Africa Revealed because we want to be a resource for everybody. But it's important to note that the name Tapestry of Africa has a very unique origin. You see, when you go to Africa, we often think about the animals, the wildlife, and we think about the beautiful savannas. I'm not forgetting about the story I'm going to share with you because we're going to go right into that story. But a tapestry, a famous tapestry in Africa is called the Kente cloth, and that's actually from Western Africa. You see, the Kente cloth is one of those beautiful, colorful garments that people wear in Africa. But the Kente cloth is very symbolic. Every color means something. Every shape or pattern has a meaning. They can mean royalty. They can mean purity. It can have a familial meaning behind it. So it's a very meaningful cloth or tapestry or garment that's worn. And in different regions of Africa, colors and vibrancy and pattern mean something. And so we caught on to that idea. So at Tapestry of Africa, we seek to bring you many different threads and patterns that help you to create your own beautiful tapestry of Africa when you visit Africa. For example, the wildlife is a very important thread and pattern in that tapestry that you'll build when you come to Africa. The culture is another important thread. The people, the landscapes, and the beauty of the national parks. These are all equally important threads and patterns of your tapestry when you come to Africa. So the reason I open with that before I get to my story is because each one of the stories, whether it be through the humanitarian work that we do or the beautiful safari adventures that we provide, they're all an equally an important part of what we try to help you build as a stunning tapestry of your visit to Africa. So back to my story now. We started this venture of humanitarian care, back before COVID. But of course, we got grounded, and COVID really put us on the back burner trying to start this new project. But now we fast forward a year or two, we went to Africa for our first trip. Again, having a safari company or leading safaris was the farthest thing from my mind. And we planned and prepared. We recruited other volunteers, and we showed up to this village, and I still go there to this day. It's called Chembeke. It's not spelled the way you think it is. It's spelled Kyambeke. But it's a beautiful village up in near the Chulu Hills of central southern Kenya. And I remember being a little nervous knowing this was our first humanitarian trip. And I thought to myself, will people show up? Do they even know that we're coming? Well, as our bus of volunteers and all of equipment showed up, I was heartwarmed to see a large crowd of local Kenyans in this remote village waiting for this supposed American dental team that was going to set up this remote clinic. And we did. We set up this remote clinic. It was our first day. It was our first humanitarian experience. We set up these massive tents. We set up our tables, our mobile dental equipment, and we started to see the patients. At the end of the first day, as we were cleaning up, and we were going to be there for about a week, so we didn't feel too bad about the end of the day telling the still waiting people, saying, we're not going anywhere. We'll be back first thing in the morning. Come back and we'll continue to treat you, your family, and your community. Well, as we were cleaning up, one of our local volunteers, I love that we team up with locals and they volunteer for their own community and they help us serve their own community. Well, one of these local volunteers came to me and he said, Dr. Matt, a lady just showed up and is hoping that we can attend to her. That's how they said it. And I looked at him and I said, his name is Onesimus. I said, Onesimus, we'd love to attend to her, but we're starting to clean up. It's been a long day. We'll be back first thing in the morning. And he looked at me and he said, no problem. I will let her know. And he went back and he talked to her and I noticed a very distraught look on her face. And so I called Onesimus. She only spoke the local dialect, so I couldn't communicate with her. But I said to Onesimus, tell me her story. What's going on? And he said, well, this lady sacrificed an entire day of her work to walk. She walked hours and hours, over 4 hours to get here. And even after she leaves, she'll have another 4-hour walk in the dark to get back to her village. I looked at her and I began to realize, and then I asked him, Onesimus, how many of these people walked more than 30 minutes to get to us? And he looked around, he said, most of them walked more than 30 minutes. Many of them come from hours away, because when this type of opportunity, when this type of service is going to come to their village, they will make great sacrifices to be here. Needless to say, I said to one of our local volunteers, I said, put one of the chairs back, get one of the stations set up. We're going to see this good lady that walked 4 hours on foot to get here and still has a 4-hour journey back home. And we put her in one of our dental chairs and we attended to a very infected, badly decayed tooth that was causing pain and infection. My friends, that is one of the first and most important threads in my Tapestry of Africa that I continue to weave and make to this day, is seeing the unbelievable spirit of the wonderful people of Africa and the resolve that they have to get through their lives. But here's the other shocking thing, is they do it in the most happy way. These people, we may think, Westerners like us, think that we go, or that they go without a lot and that we're blessed. But let me tell you, these people exhibited some of the most dedicated and determined spirits and happy personalities that I've ever seen. And we're going to get into that in future episodes, is what do they have that we don't? Because we often think that we're the ones that have much. Well, I will tell you, when it comes to material possessions, that might be true, but I'm here to tell you that there's a lot more to weaving our beautiful tapestries of life and experiencing happiness and satisfaction than material wealth. And the people and the experiences that we learn from them becomes one of became one of my most important starter threads in my patterns in my Tapestry of Africa. I have so much to share with you. Next episode, we're going to talk about travel to Africa and how is Ebola affecting travel to Africa, whether you're already planning on coming or whether you're thinking about it. I've got some very valuable information with some very reliable sources that I keep in touch with as our company to help you make the best decision for you is if you should come or when you should come to Africa. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I hope you'll join us on this amazing journey and adventure as we continue to reveal the secrets, the excitement, and the adventures that lie ahead when you join us on your special adventure, sometimes a bucket list adventure in Africa. I'm Dr. Matt Jensen, your host, and I look forward to seeing you and hearing from you next time.
Thanks for listening to Africa Revealed. Join us again next week as we uncover more of the wildlife, wonder, and stories that make Africa unforgettable. Until then, adventure awaits.